Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you the latest eyeshadow palette from NARS called Loaded. I'm also going to be doing swatches of all the colors, so if you're interested in hearing about my thoughts on this palette, should you buy it, is it worth the money, then just keep on watching. So the palette retails for $59 and it contains 12 colors, and I will move it across slowly. The palette itself is quite sturdy. It's about 4.5 inches across and 3 inches down, so about the size of my hand. As with all NARS packaging, your fingerprints are going to be all over it. The names of the shadows are listed in the back, which I think is great, because when they print the names on these little plastic inserts, I think that's useless because I always just toss mine in the garbage. I never really keep these. In fact, this one is going in the garbage right now. I personally like to have a mirror and an eyeshadow palette. I know some people don't care. It's just a preference of mine. I do like to have the mirror. Now, the only downside I see to this packaging is that I can see everything shattering if this drops. I can see the front shattering. I can see the mirror shattering. I can see all the shadows shattering. I just think you need to be very careful with this packaging because there's nothing really protecting it. I just feel like it's all very breakable. But overall, I find the packaging to be quite sleek and high-end. Now, as you can see, this is a very warm palette. It does contain a couple of cool tones. There's this beautiful color right here, as well as this neutral taupe shade that I can see being a good color to fill in light brows. Now, I did use the palette today and yesterday. I purchased mine from the NARS boutique. I believe currently it's only available at NARS boutiques and at narscosmetics.com, but I believe in about a week or so, it should be out at all of your usual NARS retailers. Overall, I feel like it's a very well-rounded palette. Today, I used these two colors in my transition. I did a real dark smoky eye today, so I used the brown, a little bit of the black. I used the white shade in my inner corner. Yesterday, I used this sparkly taupe shade, and I'll get to the swatches in just a couple minutes. So I find the variety of shades to be good because you do have transition colors, you do have some fun lid colors to play with, you do have two dark colors if you want to do a dark smoky eye like I've done today, or if you want to use them as liners, you can do that. The only thing I wish was different was that this color was a little bit lighter, so it could be used as a matte underbrow highlight. If you are interested in a tutorial on this look, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to film one for you. But now let's get to the swatches. So this is the shimmery white color in the top corner, and I will put the names up on the screen. Now the pigment on this wasn't intense at first swipe, but it wasn't real sheer either. I think it has just the right amount of pigment for this type of color. Now the next color is that matte beige, which for a darker skin would be a great underbrow highlight color, or for the rest of us, it's just a great transition color or all over lid color if you're trying to set your concealer or if you use a paint pot. This would be a great all over color just to set everything and be a good base shade. This is the third shade in, which is the gold. I haven't played with that color on the eyes yet, but in wiping it on my hand, it has decent pigment. It's not super high pigment, but I believe it can be built up, especially if you use maybe a little Fix Plus on the brush first. And then finally on the top row, we have this matte taupe. This again, pigmented and buttery. And I used the shade for a look I did yesterday, and I found it to be very pigmented. It went on the eye really, really nicely. So now we're gonna go into the second row. I'm gonna start with this shade right here. I would call this like a light caramel with some peach. This is again a great transition color for someone who is more fair, or would be a great setting color. And by that, I mean like setting your concealer or your eyeshadow primer or a paint pot, whatever you put on your lid and you just want to set that with a shadow. This would be great for someone with darker skin. But again, for lighter skin, it would be a nice transition color or a color to blend with. Now the next two I blended together for my transition color today. This one right here is a matte reddish brown. I would say this one reminds me a little bit of Saddle from MAC. And then this one, it's a little bit more red and has the faintest hint of shimmer in it. And I combined the two and it made a beautiful, warm transition color for me. So this is that reddish color with a bit of shimmer. I just blended it out on my hand. This is one swipe so you can get a grasp of the pigmentation. And then finally in the middle row is this shimmery brown. I love this color. It's beautiful. This color is just gorgeous. It has that hint of shimmer, like the last one I showed you, where it's not sparkly, it's not over the top, it blends out beautifully. If you are afraid of wearing shimmers on your eyes, don't be afraid of these. They are really, really nice, and I'll blend it out for you on my hand. So it's definitely a little bit more sheer when it's applied to the eyes, but all of these I found to be definitely very buildable, and I had little to no fallout. Now I'm gonna show you the bottom row. This is a beautiful shimmering silvery taupe. It definitely picks up more pigmented on my hand than it did on my eye, but I used my finger to pack this on my lid yesterday, and it was stunning. I absolutely loved it. All it took was maybe 2 pats on my eye to get full pigment like this. So there it is blended out on my hand. So this is the color next to it, and it's not quite as sparkly in the pan, but that other color doesn't transfer very sparkly on the lid either. This is another stunning color, great for the lid. It's kind of like a golden brown with a little olive undertone I'm seeing. So here's that shade blended out on my hand. So the last 2 colors are the dark espresso brown and what I would label like an off black. So here is the dark espresso brown. This one had a little bit of a drier texture than some of the other ones, but it is very pigmented, and I did find it to be very blendable. So this is the final shade in the palette. It to me is more of an off black. It is not a super dark black like I have in some other palettes. If that's what you're looking for in a palette, this is not it. It's a great shade if you're someone who wants the look of a black but has trouble working with those really pigmented blacks. So when blended out, it's almost a dark gray with a little sheen. So if you're wanting that rich black look, you're gonna have to wet your brush and really pack it on. Now, as far as the wear time of these shadows, I always have to wear a shadow primer. My lids are so oily. I haven't gone without a primer on my lids for probably the last 7 or 8 years. So I can't say how they would work without a primer, but with a primer, and I've been using the MAC Prep and Prime 24-hour eye base, they have held up all day, 10, 12 hours. And the pigment over them, I would say they vary from moderately sheer. None of them are super sheer. I was actually quite impressed with the quality overall of this palette because I had heard both views. I've heard that it's really sheer with no pigment, and then some people have said it's packed with pigment, and I'm somewhere right in between. I would say some shades are more sheer, like that light white color, but none of them are so sheer that I would put them in like the pointless or horrible quality category. As I said during the swatches, some of them are more buttery in texture than others, but I've used almost all the shades in the palette the last couple days, and I found them all to be very blendable, very little fallout, very pigmented. As of now, I have no complaints. And I would say if you're someone who loves a warm tone eyeshadow palette, then you will absolutely love this one. And I do like that it can work for, I believe, darker skins and lighter skins. Like with me, I'm more of a light skin, so I did once again have to add in a different under the brow brightening shade. And if you're looking for a really rich pigmented black in your eyeshadow palette, that's not what this is either. Definitely more of a off black blended out to a dark gray. So at $59, I don't find it to be an outrageous price point, especially for NARS, because their duos I think are somewhere around 30 some dollars for just the 2. Now, of course, I haven't broken it down to the cost per ounce or anything like that, but I do think it's a fair price for 12 very pigmented quality eyeshadows. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I would personally give this palette like a 4.5. I'm only taking off a half a star for the fact that I would prefer a real rich pigmented matte black, and I would prefer just one more under the brow matte shade. Maybe instead of the white shimmer, I personally would have preferred like a champagne shimmer or a matte ivory or something like that, but that's easy enough to find in any number of other palettes. If you're a palette junkie like me, you definitely have a matte ivory somewhere and a really intense black. So that is it. That is my review of the brand new NARS Loaded Eyeshadow Palette. As I mentioned, it is $59 and should be available anywhere you purchase your NARS products in the next week or 2. I purchased mine, once again, at the NARS Boutique. They do have one here in Las Vegas. So if you are planning a trip to Las Vegas in the near future, the boutique is located at Caesar's Palace, and the people that work there are super nice. So I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please also subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me, and I try to post videos twice a week. I still haven't determined what days of the week I'm going to be posting on, but I'm kind of leaning towards Mondays and Thursdays. So we'll see. Hopefully I can keep to that schedule. So yeah, once again, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Also follow me on my Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. All of those are Risa Does Makeup, and I will see you guys very soon. Thanks again for watching.